Sorry. So welcome everyone. Just give me 30 seconds to get my gimbal, that's my stabilizer, free from One moment, please. Almost there. Just have to get it free from my speaker to have more freedom in the rest of the tour. So, welcome everyone. Just gonna change my screen so you can see who is behind, and hopefully you can all hear me well. If not, I can always start using my earphones, but I think it is maybe not even necessary because it's so calm over here. So let me know if you can hear me well. If so, I'm just gonna keep it like this so we can also hear then we can hear even the birds. But because if I'm using my earphone, you don't hear the birds. And the interesting thing is, at this time in the flower gardens where we are right now, it is time that the people are going away. There's almost nobody anymore. It's the last hour of opening, so it's time that the birds and all the other animals are returning, so we will hear them a little more. So welcome everyone. My name is Stefan. I'm a tour guide, mainly, by the way, in the Netherlands, but also a little in Belgium, or a big part in Belgium nowadays, or at least for my virtual tours. And today it is the start of the spring, so it is beautiful. It's a beautiful day. It is a little cloudy. We did see a little sun, but not too much today. And I'm really excited to take you on the first day of the spring, also the first day that the Keukenhof Tulip Gardens, the Keukenhof Flower Gardens, not only tulips, are opening. This March 21st. So in the coming 8 weeks, this will be one of the locations in the Netherlands where millions of people are coming to. Not only Dutch people from all over the world, because they want to see, of course, our beautiful flowers. A lot of people are coming for the tulips, but also we have a lot of other flowers like the daffodils, the hyacinths, and also a lot more than that. So really welcome. And it is today the 75th birthday of the Keukenhof, so it's also a year to celebrate. And in the coming, let's say 45 minutes, I'm gonna take you around. I'm gonna tell you something about the Keukenhof Gardens. I'm gonna tell you something about flowers. I mean, in the last years of coming here several times, coming here several times, I learned a lot more than before about flowers, about planting techniques, about all these kind of things that I never knew before. Also because of starting to do virtual tours, that was my first time that I even came here. So a lot changed since that the disease came over the world. So the coming 45 minutes, I'm gonna take you around. Tell you, of course, a lot about what we're seeing, but also we're gonna enjoy seeing lots of beautiful flowers. And next to that, also, if you have any questions, just let me know, because I don't know if I know every answer, but at least I can try. And of course, these tours are tip supported, so if you like it, feel free to buy me a coffee or to use PayPal. There are several ways, and my amazing colleague Catherine is sometimes now and then just adding a link. So as what you see right now, so that's not me typing. No, she's doing that. She's somewhere else here in the gardens, by the way. So I took her with me for the first day of opening. So welcome everyone. I'm now gonna change my screen so you can see what I'm seeing, and then we're just gonna start the tour. And yes, it is today only the 21st. Only the 21st. So we are still very early in the season, and that also means that not all flowers are blooming yet. And to be honest, in a normal year, when I was here last year on the openings day, there was not any tulip that we could see. But this year it has been a warm winter, so that means that the tulips are about 1.5 weeks before on schedule. Early on schedule. So that means that we will see some of the early blooming tulips, and of course a lot of daffodils. And not only daffodils, also we will see hyacinths and more different flowers. And then, for example, in the bed over here, look at these very specific, very heavy daffodils that we have over here. Really beautiful. I think I really like them.
And next to that, there are also some very tiny ones. So there is a combination. There's a combination of all kind of flowers. And that's, by the way, also the good thing to know. The flower gardens over here, the Keukenhof Flower Gardens, 75 years. It is already for 75 years a nice place for all the flower farmers here in this area to present their newest creations. So what they're showing over here is like what are we doing? What are we growing in variations of all kind of flowers? So just to give you a little idea, over here is one of number 32. So this is one of the flower farmers from this area. And if you're interested in a very specific flower, then you can buy them from this specific farmer. So it is for them the show gardens. So the Keukenhof are the show gardens. I mean, millions of people are coming over here, including Elise. I saw your comment before. But maybe several of you have been here. But a lot of this is also for the farmers to show what they have been growing, what they have also sort of let's say the new breeds of the flowers. That's what we can see all over here. So the beautiful bed, and one of the other things is that not only they are presenting them, but also the gardeners of the Keukenhof, and that's not one or two. They have about 40 gardeners in total, and what they are doing is they are making designs. They're making designs of it's almost architecture of combinations of flowers. So what you, for example, see over here is not only hyacinths. I see very sort of flaming tulips, quite big ones, but I also see some snowdrops. I see several smaller hyacinths, like these little cone hyacinths, and different other flowers too, and even some crown imperial here and there. So it is a combination of flowers, of also different colors, and also the flowers have different heights. And of course also daffodils. I forgot the daffodils. Look how beautiful this is. And yes, the hyacinth, I can smell it. That's the only thing, sadly enough, these streaming apps don't use yet, that I can give you the smell from the area over here, because that is really amazing. And yes, and also if you like a certain bed, because they have combinations, so we just got the combination, and the combination over here on this side is a little more with subtle colors. You can also see that some of the flowers are not blooming yet, or most of the tulips are not blooming yet. So most probably in about 1 to 2 weeks from now, this will be a little more colorful. But this is just the start. I also see some crocus, so it is already a beautiful combination. And yeah, so everywhere you can see these flowers in different combinations, and all are from different flower farmers. And Karen is asking a really good question. Do they plant the bulbs each year and dig them up afterwards? Yes, that is what they are doing. That's what they are doing, because every year they are making new designs. So the design of this year is a different one from last year. I mean, I still know the way from last year, but the flower combinations are for sure different. And look, for example, over here. I really like this combination that they have over here of white, yellow and purple. And I mean, this is of course with crocus. And as you maybe know, crocus is one of the earlier bloomers. So it's blooming earlier in the season than some of the other flowers. So, but you can maybe imagine that that later in the season that you will not see the crocus anymore. If you're coming here 4 weeks from now, the crocus is not blooming anymore. But what they did is they are planting all these bulbs of the different flowers in a certain way that the whole 8 weeks, because the flower gardens are open, or the Keukenhof is open for 8 weeks in total, and they will make sure that also if you're coming at the end of the 8 weeks that you will still see a beautiful bed of flowers. So what they are doing is they're making they're calling it the technique after one of the most famous Italian dishes, and the dish is called the lasagna. And if you think about lasagna, if you're making lasagna, maybe you made it earlier this week, then what are you doing with the lasagna? You're giving it different layers, and the same layers they are using for the bulbs. So if we would dig over here in the ground, we would find 3 different layers of bulbs. So the first layer is what we're seeing right now. After a while, after maybe 2 to 3 weeks, some of the flowers are not blooming anymore, and then there is a next layer that's just coming out and starting to bloom. And if we're just looking here in between, then we can see some of the tulips coming that are not blooming yet. That is for the second layer already. So just to make sure that everyone who's coming over here will have enough flowers. So until 2 years ago, they also had a theme every year, but this year there's not really a theme, only that it is 75 years. So I'm just gonna walk around, and you can see it is. By the way, it is now 7:45. 7:45. That means that the sunset will be here in about 20-25 minutes. So it will get dark. We will get sunset, and they also have these beautiful combinations of these flower beds. And here you can see a little more. I was saying before that it is still early in the season, and the tulips are a little earlier than normally, but still most of them are not blooming. So you can see that, for example, over here we have a beautiful tulip over here that's called the Purple Prince. The Purple Prince here in front of us. And next to that we also have the other one that's not blooming yet. That's called Rambo. That will be a little later. But then in the bed next to it, there are some other tulips that we cannot see yet. They didn't even place the name from them yet, so I can only find a number. And they will bloom mainly in 2 weeks from now at least. And then the next bed, these are the early bloomers. Look, these are the early bloomers. I'm just gonna get you a little more nearby. This is, by the way, what I'm sometimes calling the bee view. So this is how a bee is seeing the Keukenhof flower gardens. So just flying from tulip to tulip to see if you can find something to make some money. So look how beautiful this is, all of it. And then we have another flower field at the end that's more with a lot of daffodils. So there's not really a theme for the whole flower gardens anymore, but they still have several sections where they're showing where it feels like that you are in another part of the world. So for example, over here we have some palm trees. I'm seeing some. It looks like I'm in a beach club, that I'm just back in the Caribbean. And some of you know that I was not so long ago in the Caribbean. Now over here I'm getting that feeling. I'm seeing palm trees, I'm seeing flamingos. I can have a cocktail over here on this bench. But yeah, the temperature is saying different. But look at this beautiful blooming tree over here.
This is amazing. It's a huge, no, it's not one, there's several trees just next to each other. Heavy from all the blooming flowers here on the side. And just look at this. With a windmill, some beautiful reflection. Welcome in the Netherlands, welcome in the springtime, officially starting today. Okay, I'm just gonna walk around a little more. They don't sell cocktails anymore, so it's still a little too cold for it. So I'm just gonna show you some other parts. Are we in the Caribbean? Exactly. It felt a little like we were there. But okay, I'm just going to the next field. So what you can also see that some of these fields are a little more built on little hills. So to have a better overview. And I really like the tulips that we have over here. Also early bloomers. So with yellow and red in combination again with some amazing daffodils. So it gives a nice inspiration. And by the way, if you're thinking like, okay, this mix I like for my own garden, then you just have to write down the name of the farmer, and then you can get this specific mix for your own garden. So you don't even have to be creative yourself. If you think like, I like this mix, a combination of colors, then you can just go and make sure that you write it down, and then you have a beautiful combination. Oh, look, by the way, this color of this hyacinth. Wow. And teacher, they are doing a wonderful job for sure. Yeah, so I told you before, 40 gardeners, and of course these 40 gardeners, they are working the whole year round. So it's not that they're just planting them at the end of the year. No, the whole year round they're making sure that the Keukenhof Gardens are ready for the next season. So, and they're always happy that we can all see what they did, because in the recent COVID years, of course, they did it 2 years in a row for almost nobody. So, but now we're opening again, and there are enough visitors that want to come over here, want to see all these beautiful flowers. And yeah, okay. If you think I love instruments and I have some extra ones, look at this. If you want to end your career of drumming but still think like, oh, let's use them for something else, be inspired. But it can also be even for your sax. I mean, no more sound, but just let the daffodils come out of your saxophone. Oh, and Tricia, that's nice. That's nice to hear that you found your the best combination. So, and if you wanna think like, okay, I don't like my piano anymore, then you can also use it like that. Yeah, and it's also not working anymore. I just tried it. I'm not playing piano, but just in case. Oh, look at this. And then another amazing combination of flowers that we see over here. And yeah, it is. I said it already. It is the first day of opening. It is early in the season, but I'm seeing more blooming over here than I was seeing last year. Because last year we had a colder winter, so that was more a normal year. And this year, it is quite early. So, I also love the blooming apple trees over here. Just look at this. I'm just zooming in a little. So, as you can see, it's not only about the flowers. It's also about the blooming trees. I saw somewhere else in the gardens beautiful magnolia. So a lot of people are coming over here just for the tulips, but there's so much more to see. And not only, by the way, not only plants and trees. So, not only plants and trees, there's also art. And every year they're placing art in the gardens. When I was doing the pre-tour, I was playing the music. You saw already some of these birds. That is really something from this season. And every season they're placing other art. So several artists are asked to make in a certain had to place some of their statues, for example, in the gardens, and then people can find information of this. So, and Karen, yes, the plan is not to be just here for one time, but to come here several times. So I'm planning at least to come back 2 more times, so we can also see the differences. Hello. So we can also see the differences between the end of March, what it is right now, and then somewhere half April and maybe end of April, start of May, that I'm coming for the 3rd time. So that is the plan. So we're really early, but it's also so calm. That's one of the things that I love. And I have to show you this cherry blossom tree in full. Japanese cherry blossom tree in front of us with this beautiful, really beautiful white blossom. And also this is earlier than the years before. Well, look, it is, if I'm looking at this tree, then I'm almost thinking that it is so heavy that all these little flowers blooming fully, it almost looks like, oh wow, this is too heavy for this tree. But it's not, of course. And Karen, yes, I will also take you to the field. So I'm just trying to do that between all the other things that I'm doing. So some of you I saw on my Facebook, like, Stefan, where have you been in the last weeks? Yeah, I have been doing a lot of other things. I've not been sitting on my couch, no, not at all. I've been networking. First on a cruise in the Caribbean, as some of you know. And after coming back, about 4 days later, there was another conference starting here in Amsterdam. A conference from American travel agents related to the river cruises that are starting. A lot of river cruises are starting in Amsterdam. So I met hundreds and hundreds of people in the last days. So many that you can maybe hear my voice a little. I lost my voice. It's now coming back, but I lost my voice in the last week. Catherine too, by the way. We were both losing our voice from all the talks, from also all the moments that we were meeting people for dinner later in the evening for drinks, etc. So it was an amazing event. But now back to normal work again, doing virtual tours, but of course also making sure that a lot of people that are coming to the Netherlands, that we can guide them around, because of course that is my official job is guiding, and I'm not doing that on my own. So there are a lot of guides in the Netherlands that are working for me. Okay, the tulips. Let's go find out some more tulips. As said before, it is very early in the season, so most of them are not blooming yet. So what they did is they placed a pavilion here on the terrain of the Keukenhof. And the one over here, before we're going in, I'm just gonna show you one beautiful part with hyacinths. And then we're going inside over there to see some tulips inside, because there will be a lot of tulips over there. But before it is completely dark, let me show you this beautiful field of hyacinths. And yeah, I have to fly. I'm not heavy enough, I think. Oh, look at this. You can maybe recognize what this is, because this is a quite famous Dutch rabbit. A quite famous Dutch rabbit. And exactly, it is Miffy. This is Miffy, only then in a huge version made out of hyacinths. And whoa, Miffy, you're quite smelly this year. But yeah, they made a nice miffy over here. There's more miffy over there at the sides with a little house, but that is for another time. I'll be back over here. I promised that already. So let's go into Willem-Alexander. And Willem-Alexander, that is, by the way, this pavilion is named after Willem-Alexander, and that is our king right now. It's now King Willem-Alexander, sometimes in the Netherlands called King Willy. I know Willy is also meaning something else, but that's how we're calling it. And this is the Tulip Pavilion. So if we're going inside, then we see already some beautiful, what we call double tulips. Look how beautiful red they are over here. So wow, this is amazing. So if you're thinking that I'm changing the colors a little more, no, this is really the colors of these tulips. So okay, and I have to go a little to the other side because there's still, even over here in the pavilion on the first day, you see that several of the beds over here are still green. So there we don't see the tulips yet, but there are also some parts where we can see them already. So for example, over here we see some more, again, double tulips, beautiful pink. Wow, this is amazing, isn't it? And then next to them there are some very deep red ones. So I'm just going under the cord so I can come more nearby. So yeah, why are all these tulips inside? That is for two reasons. One, so they can show already early in the season more than just the early bloomers outside. That is one. And the second thing is also for the flower farmers. They want to show us their newest creations. So a lot of the new tulips and some farmers are working on them literally for years and years and years. To get a new tulip on the market, it will on average take about 20 years. So what we see over here is our tulips that they are presenting, that maybe about 20 years ago they started with the first idea about a new type, a new variation, a new color of tulips, and then 20 years later finally we can present them over here. So for example, over here we have a very deep red tulips, and I'm going in between. You can see how red they are, and they are also a little yellow. So this one is, I think, one that men would buy for their girlfriends or their wives, because this one is called the Ferrari, named after that beautiful car. I don't know how many men are watching this show right now, but otherwise this is the Tulipa Ferrari. So fits perfectly with your sports car, if you are a little rich, of course. So, and then next to them we have some tulips in a completely different shape. That's one of the things. Just imagine there are not 100, not 200, not 1,000. No, there are thousands of variations of tulips. Not all of them are sold on the market, but a lot of the ones over here are. And I specifically also love the ones over here. Look at these. They are off-white with like a little layer on the side. It's beautiful. White and with a little pink. And yeah, so there are so many combinations. I also want to show you. This is a little further away for me, so I have to hang over. What we have over here, the variation of the tulip that's called the fringed tulip. So there are not only different colors, there are not only different sizes, but there are also different types of tulips.
And most people, if you're talking about a tulip, then you're thinking about the one that we see over here. That's more the standard tulip, where the petals are just single. So this is the more traditional tulip, and we're nowadays calling this the single tulip because there's only a single layer of petals. But I've shown you already before, and we will see more, not only single tulips but also double ones. And then you have the fringe ones. You have more different and also several other variations. So we will see some more later on. Yeah, and this is how it's going on and on and on and on. And if you want them all, yeah, then you have a problem, because then you really need a big garden to plant them all, and of course also the good climate, because it is not that in every climate you can just plant and grow your tulips. So look at the ones over here, how extremely beautiful the color combination. What is it? Is it pink? Is it yellow? It thinks, for me it's a little like Barbie colors, or making me think of like sweets or so. If I'm going to a candy store and getting some candies, that is the idea that's giving me. And yes, the tulips are from this area, the Netherlands. We are the biggest grower of tulips worldwide. Still 80% of all the tulips that are sold worldwide are coming from Dutch bulbs. And I'm saying bulbs because that is what we are growing in the area around. It's not about the flowers, it's just about the bulbs that we are exporting. So and I see a lot of, I like these ones, I love these ones. Yeah. Okay, and then also look at the ones over here. Look at the ones over here. Look at the shape. It's a beautiful shape of these tulips. And yeah, when I was here, it's like almost like a royal shape. And it's not so strange that I'm thinking about a royal, because this one is called Queen Rania. So it's named after a queen. So not only all the people from all the Dutch kings and queens, and the princesses, they all have their own tulips. But there are so many tulips nowadays, so many variations, that almost every king and queen that you can think of has their own variation. And then I'm going to show you a very specific type of tulip that they're calling the parrot tulip. And that's the one over here. Look at the shape. Look at the shape of this tulip. It's so different from what we expect. But this is a variation, one of the hundreds of variations that we have nowadays of the parrot tulip. So it looks, when you're coming from a little further away, it's like there's a parrot sitting in your garden, but no, it is just a tulip. And then we also have another one over here on the side. I'm just going to show you. This is called the cerise parrot. So completely different type that we see over here. You see different types, different colors again. But yeah, it's called the parrot tulip. One of my favorites, to be honest. And we will also see more of them. Let's see. Okay, I'm just going to the other side. I'm just trying to show you a variation of different colors. And then the ones over here, these ones are, okay, one of my favorites. Look at these white ones. If you look at these, do you think, when I'm seeing this, I'm almost thinking this is not a flower. This looks like silk. It looks like silk almost. White, but again a little pink. This is another parrot tulip, just a single one, but again a little royal, because this one is called the White Prince. the white prince, and the white prince is just standing next to the purple prince. That's his brother. Next to him. And then I'm going to show you a completely different type. So we were seeing before, what we're seeing before were the single tulips. And over here, these are double tulips. And why double tulips? Because if you're looking at the petals, and now just going a little to the top, then you see that there are two layers of petals. So a double tulip. And then look at these ones. We have more variations. How huge the ones over here are. And also how colorful again. It's amazing to see this. So hopefully the chat is still working, because I don't see any chat. But it's maybe just my side that is lagging a little. Or you may be all speechless because how beautiful this is. That's of course also possible. And look at this. It's again almost feels like yeah, Tish, I was thinking that already. You're just speechless from all the variations of tulips that I'm showing you right now. Okay. You can see, I don't know if you're seeing it, but it is getting a little darker right now. But and then yeah, another parrot one here at the end. So it's still, they're just starting to bloom. But another beautiful parrot one is, by the way, called the DJ parrot. I don't know if it's a specific DJ or just in general the DJ parrot. And when we're looking inside, you can still see that it is a tulip. It has everything from a tulip, but the petals are so completely different from all the other ones. Okay. And I just have to make a choice every time. Like I cannot show all of them, but because there's so many beautiful ones. And then, if you're seeing this, what does this look like? I was just reading the name and I can imagine why they called it. How do you think these tulips are called? What does it remind you of? Wow, this is really beautiful once again. It is something, I'm gonna help you a little. It looks like roses. Yeah, it is a little like roses for sure. It is a little like roses, that's true. But they're calling these popcorn. Because from far away, exactly, Michelle, popcorn. From far away, it is almost like the popcorn that you're eating when you're in the cinema. So, the tulipa popcorn, that's what it is. It's going down again. Look how beautiful these double ones are. So I'm just gonna show you from nearby. So what I'm doing a lot is just sitting on the ground, sometimes on my knees, just to give you the best overview. And then, oh, these ones are one of my favorites. It's again a parrot, but this is almost, when I'm seeing these, and I love the combination of pink, a little white, a little purple, a little green even, and this feels almost like ice cream, isn't it? So of course, when they're starting to bloom, then you have this explosion of all the petals. But yeah, they're beautiful, isn't it? Okay, and I said before, about 80% of all the tulips is coming from the Netherlands. Not only, by the way, from
the area just around here. There are some other parts in the Netherlands where we also are growing a lot of tulips. But yeah, the most of them are still coming from over here. And then also look at these ones. Green and yellow in a combination. So yes, we have green tulips. So looking something almost like vegetables. And then the ones here at the back, look at that. It's almost that you're looking at completely different types of flowers or plants. But yeah, no, it's all just tulips in different variations. But the ones over here are looking pretty wild. Too beautiful, yes, I think so. It's a wonderful product to export. Yeah, that's true. And we are exporting this already for a long time. The first tulips ended up here in the Netherlands in the 17th century. It is not originally a Dutch flower. So a lot of people are thinking that tulips are from the Netherlands. No, they're not from the Netherlands. Not originally, at least. Some other people are thinking that the tulips are from Turkey, because in Turkey it is the national flower. But I also have to correct people that are thinking that the tulips are from Turkey, because they're also not from Turkey. They are originally from the area what is now called Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan and parts of Iran, parts of Persia. That is where the tulip is originally coming from. Growing over there, the wild tulips on the more higher parts, the drier parts of the country. So the sandy parts of the country. And what happened is that the Turkish, the Ottomans to be precise, were bringing this flower via the Silk routes all the way to Turkey. So started to grow it over there. The Ottoman kings and queens, the sultans, they were not calling it kings and queens, they were calling it sultans. They started loving this flower, had them in their gardens. And of course the Ottomans were also trading with several Europeans. So via Istanbul or Constantinople in that time, the tulip came all the way to Vienna. And from Vienna it ended up in the Netherlands in the 17th century. And when it ended up over here, the 17th century was also the period that the Dutch were, one, very powerful, two, also quite rich. So what happened is that a lot of people over here loved this flower, loved the tulip, the new tulipa, and they started asking for more and more. And then there was a botanist in the city of Leiden, beautiful Dutch city by the way, and he started experimenting. He started experimenting with some of the first bulbs that he got from Vienna. And what he found out is that the Dutch ground, the Dutch soil, is perfect to grow your tulips. And the Dutch soil that I'm talking mainly about the sand grounds. The sand grounds are perfect. And not only that, also we are living over here, and you know that if you're doing more often tours with me, that it is always windy in the Netherlands. Hence all the windmills that we have. By the way, again, beautiful flowers. So the wind in combination with the soil, not too wet, but also not too dry. Sand ground, wind, that is the perfect climate to grow tulips. So when we found out that is the perfect climate, we started growing more and more and more of these beautiful tulips. And nowadays the biggest exporter of tulips, one of the biggest export products that we have. So yeah, here in the show gardens we're showing about 7 million tulips, but in all the fields around there are millions, no, billions, trillions more of these flowers that we can see. And look at this. So it is so beautiful, isn't it? All these variations with interesting names sometimes. So the ones over here are not blooming yet.
but a beautiful pink color. And this one is called the Tulipa Milkshake. So I think strawberry milkshake, or that's what I expect. But maybe they also have vanilla. And talking about different shapes, also look at this. In the shape more of like a lily. It's still just starting to bloom, but you can imagine already if this tulip is blooming at the end, then all the petals are going to the outside, and then you have a very interesting variation again. So I just showing you more and more. There's so much more, by the way. And then of course we also still have some of our most famous one. And yes, Corinne, I'm not only giving, I mean, yes, I found, of course, if you're talking about camera work, you always have the bird eye view. Let's say like this is the bird eye view. And I thought like, yeah, when I'm doing these flower tours, I have two other views. One is the bee view. This is the bee view, going from flower to flower as how a bee would go from flower to flower. But there's also another one, and that is from a lower perspective. For that we have to go in between the flowers to see them from the top. So it is a little like we are in a miniature world. And oh, sorry for this. And this is what I'm calling the ant view. So this is the perspective of an ant, or maybe from a little spider that is going through the flower fields, seeing all these beautiful, in this case, yellow tulips. Like, oh, my gimbal is not liking this so much because there are a little too many at the same bed. But yeah, that are the two views. Yes, I mean, I was thinking, how am I gonna call this view when I'm just in between these flowers? And then, yeah, and to come up with these names, of course, I can imagine that it's hard. So basically, all the royals in the world have their own flowers. Also, almost every women name has their own flower. But also, so for example, over here we have these beautiful white ones. So the ones over here are named after one of the biggest birds that we can find worldwide, and that is the albatross. So the Tulipa albatross. So imagine that. And thank you, Julie, for the compliments. Some people, by the way, complained about. I had last year, I think, 2 people complained, and they were saying like, "Ah, you're always going on your knees. We want to see all the flowers from up." But it's of course, I'm just trying to combine it a little. The only thing is that sometimes my gimbal, oh, like over here right now, I now have to recalibrate it a little to get on the level of the tulips again. But yeah, flying over the flowers as a bee, maybe stopping here and there. And these flowers over here, no, they're not plastic. They're not plastic, these are real petals. They're looking sometimes like plastic. Unbelievable. And yeah, so many combinations and colors. And then over here, look at these. I was just wanting to show you also the very deep purple ones. So it's getting darker and darker. I'm now talking about the color of the tulips, and we designed during the years more and more color variations. And nowadays it is at 2024, there's only one color tulip that we still cannot make. And I think the ones who did tours with me before know what color I'm talking about, because that color is the color of blue. So blue is the only color that is not existing. For a long time, by the way, that was the same for black. So generations and generations of flower farmers tried to get the black tulip, and nowadays, let's say we almost have it. And when I'm saying almost, it's because we have extremely deep purple ones, like the ones over here, for example, very deep purple, and some of them are almost black tulips. So we sort of have the black tulip, but blue, they're still trying. So if you ever see someone who's want to sell you a blue tulip, then that can only mean that or they're scamming you. That's one option, and the other option is that they painted maybe a white one. And I'm not kidding, they're also doing that. There is a company even in the Netherlands that are painting your tulips, and it looks like it's real color. So they can make all kind of variations that you cannot imagine. So 2 years ago, here on the talking about a black one. This is over here. This is one of the black ones. This is what we call black tulip. You can see it's very, very, very deep purple, almost black. And the one over here is, by the way, called the Tulipa hot chocolate. So really beautiful color. Tulipa hot chocolate. Oh, and Anna Levina. Hi, Anna. Welcome. I didn't see you before. My amazing colleague from where? Israel, St. Petersburg, Georgia. It is, it's all. Wow, cool. Nice to have you over here. No, but blue is still not possible, for sure. Blue is still not possible, but there is a company, I said already, that are painting them, and I have over here an example so you can see how it looks. So if you see tulips like this in these kind of color combinations, no, that's not possible. That's not real. Also the one over here, so here is an example of blue tulips. No, these are painted. We do not have really blue tulips. And yeah, that's why am I also saying that is 2 years ago, what happened is that and talking about that is interesting to have Anna at this moment in the tour, because of course the terrible thing happened in Ukraine when Russia was attacking Ukraine. That was in February 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago now. And what happened, because the Netherlands, we were really supporting Ukraine, and what happened is that there was a company and they were saying we have a tulip in the colors of the Ukrainian flag, blue and yellow. So, and it was on social media, and a lot of people were saying like, okay, I want to buy this tulip. And I knew immediately when this was in the news that this is fake, because this is not possible. It is not possible when we're looking here at this, by the way, these beautiful French tulips. Look at these. Look at this. But no, it is not possible to have yellow ones as over here, but you cannot have a combination with blue and yellow. No, that's not possible. So it was in the end painted, but a lot of people were thinking that they really came up with an Ukrainian tulip. In the meantime, I'm looking at the time. I'm seeing that the gardens are closing in about 5 minutes. So that means I have to start walking towards the exit, because I don't want to sleep over here. So this was just my first flower tour. I'm really grateful for everyone who joined me today. I'm going outside. It is dark already. It's after sunset. So I really hope you enjoyed it. I will be back. That will be, I think, in about 2 to 3 weeks from now, if there's more blooming, if we have more tulips outside. So I don't come inside here anymore, but I'm gonna show you a little more outside of all the flowers blooming over there. So that will be wonderful again, hopefully with some good weather. So maybe we can even see a sunset by that time, because the days are getting longer and longer. And of course, I want to thank you all for joining. If you like this tour, what you can do, and it's now really getting dark, what you can do is use the link that will be placed in
in the chat again, because the only way how I can keep on doing these tours is by getting some tips. So thank you for everyone already who is supporting me. It's really getting dark now, so I'm just gonna see if I can find a little more place with more light. But let's see, at least you can see that I'm still here. Maybe here on the side somewhere. Okay, no, but you can of course support me. I'll be back for sure, and not only. Oh, this is also a smart idea. Thank you, Catherine. So I have some light. So I have some light from another phone. Now I will be back not only for the tours of the Keukenhof, at least 2 more times, but also I also wanna show you the flower fields itself. So I will do maybe 1 or 2 cycling tours on the bike, where we will see the flower fields outside. So the daffodils, the tulips, the hyacinths, and all of them. So hopefully to see you again on one of these. And then before we're ending, I'm just going in. Let's see if this pavilion here is still open. They have some other ones over here. So thank you. Let's see if it's still open. Yeah, it's open. Okay. Inside over here. Wow, look at this. And again, the smell is amazing. The smell is amazing. So this is a different pavilion with all kind of flower combinations. And not only that, they even placed over here. Look at this. Just be inspired. Be inspired by this pink car over here. And to be honest, this pink car, this is an old Dutch car. Yes, we had one day a car industry even in the Netherlands called DAF, and this one is beautifully painted in pink in combinations with all kind of pink and green flowers around it. So let's celebrate together, it is saying, the sign next to it. And this is more for people that want to take selfies. And for example, over here you have an old Volkswagen. So these are, by the way, with dried flowers, so you can also get a lot of dried flowers over here. So several other companies are, of course, presenting their flowers and what they are doing. So for the last one, I'm just gonna end this tour, and sadly enough, the smell-o-vision is still not there, but otherwise you would have had this beautiful smell of the hyacinths over here in different colors, in white, in yellow, in purple. So that are the main colors, and pink, of course, that are the main colors of the hyacinths that we see over here. So thank you again for joining. I hope to see you again another time, another tour in the coming weeks. And if you did not subscribe to my channel, you can still do it. And also thank you for all the tips. Bye bye.